Hello, folks, and welcome to Cinema Schifezza. I'm Jack Porter, and this is my dead co-host, Taylor Antrim. We're in the year 2021 here. It's a dystopian technological future, and there's this new deadly disease called the Black Shakes that's infecting everybody around us. It's caused by the wires and the things in the air. But Taylor got this disease, and he's slowly dying, and I'm probably going to die too just from being in proximity to him. But right now, I am manning the ship, and I got to tell you, the movie we're talking about today, it's not good. I think it's really sad that in this future of 2021, the only man, the only person alive on this earth that can save us is Keanu Reeves.
Fuck Keanu Reeves! I wasn't a big fan of this film that we watched.
I'm not either.
The name of Johnny Mnemonic is its name. Why did you make me watch it?
Well, because I really like the short story that this film is based on, and I just out of morbid curiosity, I was like, okay, I'll see this film. And then I saw the film, and it was really bad. And then I thought, hey, you know what? I need to make other people suffer. I need to make other people see this film so they know the pain that I went through. And so, yeah, that's why we watched Johnny Mnemonics here. It's basically the story of a man played by Keanu Reeves, and in the future, they have flash drives that are implanted in your brain, and it can hold an amazing capacity of 160 gigabytes.
That was what pissed me off the most, because there's these couriers that bring all this information, not like through the internet, but through humanoid flash drives in their head. And so like, plug me in, Captain. They like plug into his head and they put all the information in there. But the most that they can put into his head, like that's safe, is 160 gigs. I'm like, what?
Yep.
160 I know it's like an older movie, but this is supposed to be the future. Why is 160, like, why did they not futurize that aspect of it?
Well, because see, here's where it's strange. I looked this up. The movie came out in 1995, and the maximum memory of a Windows 95 computer was 312 megabytes. So I think they just severely underestimated how far technology was going to advance in 26 years. Boy, did they really underestimate it. But, I think the nuclear wasteland kind of landscape of New Jersey is still accurate. Am I right? Anyway, yeah, for whatever reason, New Jersey is like the place that they just hang out the entire movie because they don't have a lot of money. And I'm assuming New Jersey gave them a lot of tax breaks, and they couldn't film in Beijing for too long because it's expensive.
But do you think they filmed in New Jersey realistically?
No, I think they probably filmed probably somewhere in Eastern Europe, and we're like, yeah, this is New Jersey.
Takeshi Kitano,
Yeah.
like the biggest Japanese superstar ever, is in this film, and it surprises the hell out of me that they got him to speak English for like 2 lines, and
Yeah.
like they probably begged him to speak English because his American audiences don't want to hear him talk his native language for too long, and they get mad at him. But he's such an icon in Japan, and then he's just in this for some reason.
Well, it's like when Brendan Fraser's in that one Bollywood movie.
It's all coming around. It's like when Takeshi Kitano is in that one Ghost in the Shell movie from 2016 or 2017, whatever.
Yeah, see, it's very strange that he was in Ghost in the Shell, because there's actually a moment in Johnny Mnemonic where Takeshi Kitano looks at some stuff that's there's a robot thing in the cyberspace. This movie is full of techno jargon, and he goes, a ghost in the machine, except he says it in Japanese, and it's just the subtitle says a ghost in the machine. But 22 years later, this poor sucker would be in Ghost in the Shell.
It also has iced tea as he's like a lion man, but he has really bad makeup, and he doesn't like technology, even though their base is made from technology, and it's really confusing.
So there's a resistance group that's like, they're basically like these like weird Luddites that are portrayed as heroes. They're called the Low-Techs. And what's very strange is that in the short story, they're portrayed as like people that like have surgically altered themselves to look like dogs, and they have like giant teeth and stuff. But in the movie, they just wear like some face paint and have dreads, and they kind of just look like rejected minions from Road Warrior. So it's a little depressing that this is what this group has been reduced to in the adaptation. But yeah, Ice-T is in it, and he just kind of says stuff like, yeah, resist technology. And you're like, did we really need Ice-T for this? I mean, like, what were people going to come see this? Are they going to see on the poster, Ice-T in a movie about science fiction? Oh, boy.
Lemonade.
Yeah.
Lemonade.
And, you know, I think this is a very musical film because you have Ice-T and you have Henry Rollins of Black Flag, and he's also in it for like 2 seconds. All these people that have no reason to be in Johnny Mnemonic are in it for like 2 seconds, and then they're gone, and you just think, why?
It's very long for an hour and 40 minutes. Extremely long. I remember that finale. I just wanted it to just shut off.
Yeah, the third act drags on far longer than it ever needs to because we basically get 2 climaxes. Because the whole movie, Johnny's brain has been overloaded with some sensitive information that we eventually realize has the cure to this deadly disease called the Black Shakes. And the pharmaceutical companies don't want him to get it because then the information will be free and anybody can get the cure, even though that doesn't really make sense because they still have to have like money to produce the drug to save people. But you know, I mean, I'm not going to apply logic to this film. But anyway, Johnny's brain is overloaded, and so he has to hack his own brain in this epic CG sequence so he can get the information out. Because something went wrong in the initial extraction process, and it's a jumble of clusterfuck. You get 2 climaxes because the Low-Techs fight the pharmaceutical people, and then once everybody's just shot dead, then Johnny sits down in his little brain scanning chair, and he scans his brain, and then the movie's over, and you just sit and think, I didn't need to see 2 climaxes to this film.
We were arguing, actually, not really arguing, but whether or not we should do Lawnmower Man or this. And this one won out because of the sheer, like some of the casting choices, some of the goofy stuff within it. There's a dolphin. There's Dolph Lundgren as a religious
preacher. Yeah.
He's a preacher that dresses up as like Moses, but he's made of all technology, but you can't tell because they didn't put any makeup on him because they were lazy and they didn't have any money. Takeshi Kitano, which was a big seller for me. Like I want to hear him speak in his office for the whole movie, and that's it.
And Takeshi Kitano, they did lure him out of his office.
They finally,
he shows up at the end, and he gets shot and dies. And I just imagine that he's like, "Can I have my paycheck now?"
So this movie's one of those like Uber hacking, like I'm in, buddy, where they're using all these power gloves to maneuver throughout the internet. It's very dated, it's very old, it's very fun to watch.
It is. That's probably the most fun sequence in the film is Keanu Reeves has to find a computer, and they find a computer store in a train tunnel. I can't quite tell where it's supposed to be. Yeah, pretty much. But they find a computer store, basically, and they put him into the web, and he puts on what looks like 2 power gloves, like the Nintendo thing, and then a little visor. And it basically puts him into this like really bad CG landscape, and he has to like do like hand motions to grab things. Like he grabs like this pyramid, and then he has to like solve it like a puzzle thing, and it shocks him, and he's like, ah, like it actually hurt him somehow, and then he has to like rearrange it, and he's like, I'm pulling my way to Beijing, I'm making a long distance phone call, and he like has to like reach really far out to grab from Beijing, and it's so impractical. But I mean, there were a couple other movies that did that, like Lawnmower Man, and there's like a Michael Crichton movie with Michael Douglas where he does the same thing. It was just like an idea in the 90s that you were just going to have to like physically interact with the internet. And boy, were they wrong.
It doesn't make any sense because in reality, if you click a button on a computer, especially this far into the future, it would like instantly like boom, and not all this like nonsense like visual transitions. I mean, I guess I got to show the audience some way that I'm in the internet. But it's really dumb. It's like it's such a bland way of looking at how a futuristic internet would be. Even back then, it's bland. It's like pre-1984 type of stuff.
Yeah, and I think part of what makes this story not work in the context that it was made, again, obviously, I'm not really trying to compare the movie to the short story, but the short story was written like in 1982, so by the time the movie finally got made, they didn't bother to update any of the concepts that were in the story, because the story was written before the internet was a thing that most people had access to. So you could kind of just fudge the truth and be like, oh yeah, this is how the internet would be in 10 years. And most people would buy that because they'd be like, oh, an internet? What is this? But then by 1995, there were enough people that like had access to the internet, through like work at least, and they'd be like, Don't do this. That's not. I send an email. I don't have to reach across and like throw the email. What is this? One thing that's very interesting about Johnny Mnemonic is that this is kind of a one-hit blunder for the director.
What's his name?
Robert Longo.
Ooh.
And his career was short O.
Hey! Nice.
Yeah. So he just really wanted to make a Johnny Mnemonic movie, and according to the IMDb trivia page, he had to raise like $25 million to be able to make what essentially he just wanted to make like an experimental short film. But then, like, to get the money to make that, they were like, no, just make an action movie. And it turned out to being a $25 million action movie. And that's far from what the story should be. But I think it kind of just broke him because he was never seen from again. His IMDb credit, like singular credit, is just the director of Johnny Mnemonic.
Well, do you think it's because Johnny Mnemonic was it a failure? Or
No.
do you think it was kind of like Sky Captain and the World Tomorrow, where it's like this really big movie that made no money at all? Or
No, I think it did okay, because at least, again, you're going from IMDb, it made at least like close to 60 million. So it wasn't like a failure, but I'm sure Hollywood accounting would say we never made any money on it. But it wasn't a disaster.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a disaster because it's a hidden bad movie.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of very cliche things within it. This seems like the movie's far later in its life than it needs to be. It feels like the movie is made 10 years prior than it actually is. It doesn't look like some 90s thing. It looks way cheaper. I'm surprised it exists, actually.
Yeah.
It's just it's confusing that this would exist in that format and that time. Dolph Lundgren was on his way out. Keanu Reeves was rising, to be fair, but it seems off.
Yeah, it's a very strange film. Like, Keanu Reeves, I think, is a very hit or miss actor. I know he has his defenders, but I'm not the biggest fan of Keanu Reeves.
I'm a semi-defender. I like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I think this is probably one of his better bad roles, because he kind of like pulls a Nick Cage here and has a couple freakouts. There's one particularly fun scene where the low-tech people try to drop a flaming car on him, and they don't succeed, and so he like freaks out and he's like, I want room service like they have at the Royal Beijing Hotel, or something to that effect. And
Keanu Reeves has no reason for anything. He doesn't care about anything. You don't know why he wants to get rid of. You don't know why he wants to survive this.
Yeah,
there's no reason for him to, because he has the cure for this virus that's killing everyone in the world. And he decides like, no, I don't want to do it. And I'm like, okay, so he's one of those characters, so he's gonna have to redeem himself in the end.
No, he doesn't.
But he doesn't really. He just. It seems selfish. It didn't seem like the movie really wanted to give us any explanation of why he's so selfish.
Yeah, because early on, there's a Henry Rollins. He meets Henry Rollins, who's a doctor, and he tells him that he can get the information out of his head, but that Johnny Mnemonic might die in the process. And Johnny's like, no, I won't let you do it. And so it's like, but why? They literally said that like half the world's population is dying from this deadly disease. I think at that point, one life is okay to say, if I'm saving like 5 billion people and I just might die in the process, I think that'd be okay. But then again, I'm not Johnny.
He's a selfish prick. But Johnny's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Then there's Dolph Lundgren, who is a street preacher. He's like a bad guy that the Yakuza villains hire to try and hunt down Johnny. But Dolph Lundgren has, I think, 3 scenes in the movie. He has a scene where he picks up the phone and he's like, I'll do it. And then he has the scene where he like jumps in front of a car.
And he gets run over.
So he's supposed to be the big bad like hitman scary guy. Each one of the times he shows up is so underwhelming. It's unbelievable. First time you see him, he runs in front of a van. He
goes like, halt!
He halts, and I'm like, oh, he's going to do something crazy. And they just run him over, and you're like, what? That's it?
Yeah.
And then the next scene, the following scene, they're with the...
Yeah, they're in the hospital, like basically... The next time he shows up, they're in like the hospital for all the Black Shakes people, and then all of a sudden this like gurney rolls in with the guy that's been stabbed with a crucifix, and they're like, what?
Yeah, and you think it's gonna be like, oh, he's gonna walk in with steam. No, he runs in, he's like, ah, just fights people, and you're like, why would he do that? Why would he do that entrance to begin with? Then why wouldn't he just do that to begin with?
Yeah, and then he crucifies Henry Rollins, and we never see him again. So we don't even know if Henry Rollins died. He just stabbed him in the hands. It's like, big whoop. So it's like he's not even really that much of a badass, like, because like the one person that he did kill, like we don't even know who it is. That person might have already been dead.
It was like a janitor.
Hospital.
It was like a janitor guy. You're like,
yeah,
what?
and then he finally shows up again at the end during like the big shootout between the Low-Techs and like the pharmacy people and all that, and he just gets wrecked. Like there's a military grade dolphin in this film that has like cybernetic implants, and they use him like as a computer basically, and there's like this heat wave ray beam connected to the dolphin, and they push Dolph Lundgren in front of the ray, and he just like bursts into flames and dies, and it's like, oh, okay, well I guess that's the end of Dolph. And then at the very end of the film, like I'm not kidding, it's like the second to last shot in the film, it cuts to the burning, smoking husk of Dolph Lundgren, and it starts to rise. And the first time I saw this, I was like, no, they're not really gonna have him like still be alive, right? And he just keeps getting up and up, and I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be pretty crazy. And it cuts to a wide shot, and they're just lifting the dead body up with a little crane, and Ice-T says, man, get that shit out of here. And it's like, oh, okay.
And then I clapped.
Yeah, and then it ends with like Johnny and the love interest, and there's like a shot of them like making out or something, and then it's over, and I'm like,
what a movie. Johnny Mnemonic sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Short and sweet. I didn't really like it. It's a bad sci-fi film. I wouldn't recommend it. Thank you for watching. Anything else you have to say about it?
I would say this is just a jumbled wreck of a film. I think if you're a fan of William Gibson and you also hate yourself, I would watch this movie. So yeah, it's not a good film, and I think that's part of what makes our lovely show so great, is that we can watch a movie and go, man, don't watch it, and we save you the trouble. We watch it so you don't have to.
Yeah, thank you for watching our show, wasting your time watching us say not to watch it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anything else you have to say about it?
No, I think it's about time we go to our one and only friend, Doug Walker.
What do you have to say about it, Doug?
That movie sucked.
I mean, tell me something I don't know, Doug. Give me some new information, buddy. How do we go back home?
I hadn't thought about that. I basically just digitally transferred ourselves into this computer like in Tron.
Can you take us to the meme world?
Yeah, actually, we just gotta click on the internet.
This is a nice, wholesome place, Jack.
Yeah, the internet's a lot of fun.
Oh shit. Is that 9gag?
Oh no, Jesus!
It's so dated. These memes died 7 years ago.
I think we found a safe haven. I think it's a nice website. Oh,
Wait, no, it's 4chan.
Just garbage. Get that out of here.